Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we are looking at the very old, very rare and very collectible 1968 Thunderbirds Annual, which was released in late 1967 by IPC magazines for the upcoming 1968 year. And it was all based on Gerry Andersons Thunderbirds television series, which I'm sure we all know it was probably the most famous of all of the Anderson series, and certainly the most popular, I think. There was 32 episodes produced and 2 movies. The episodes ran for, I think, about 50 minutes, and they were filmed between 1964 and 1966, and it was using the format that the Andersons called Super Marination, and they aired between September 65 and December 66 for the first time, but then obviously after that there was loads and loads of reruns on the children's TV channels, usually on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings, and then in the early afternoons, so it was rerun over and over again. Okay, but this annual we're looking at today, as I say, was the 1968 annual, and this is the front cover, and it says Gerry Andersons Thunderbirds Annual, and there you've got an image of Thunderbird 1 as it's coming in to land. So that's the front of the book. Let's just spin the book over to the back, and what have we got on the back? We've got an image of Thunderbird 3 just blasting off into space, no doubt on its way up to the International Rescue Space Station, Thunderbird 5. Let's just have a very quick look at the spline, and it just says Thunderbirds on the spline there, so nothing else. Okay, that is the front and back covers. Let's open it up and let's have a look inside. Okay, so I've opened the annual, and this is inside the front cover, and you see 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds 5 at the top, at the left-hand side, sorry. Thunderbird 4, Thunderbird 3, Thunderbird 2, and Thunderbird 1. And it's, you know, at the bottom there, corner, there's a white circle there, and that had the price that was originally charged for this annual as new, but it has been rubbed out. It was in a circle so that you could rub it or you could clip the corner off. So that's what we call price clipped. Okay, so that is the first page. Let's just move over, and there we see you've got the whole of the Tracy family sitting at the island. Obviously nothing to do, no rescues going on. Actually, the only one missing there is John Tracy, who is no doubt up on the space station. And then we've got the contents at the bottom right hand side here, and it says comic strips: Terror Beneath the Waves, River of Destruction, Disaster at Derby, Dive to Danger, The Trap, Bridge of Fear, The Cloud of Death, and Fight for Survival. The stories we got is Terror Mountain, Mooncrack, Collision Orbit, and Dead Man's Rescue. And the features include Secrets of Tracy Island, specification of a Thunderscope, specification of Firefly, Thunderbird 1 Launch Bay, 5 Funny Things, check on International Rescue, Break for Laughs, To Save a Life game, To Save a Life and then game, Thunderbird 2 Launch Bay, The Hood Public Enemy Number 1, specifications of the Mole, Emergency Red Alert, Funfair, Observation Test, and Thunderbird 3 Launch Bay. Okay, so that is the first index page. Let's whip it over and let's have a look at the first story. And the first story there is Terror Beneath the Waves, and it is obviously a Thunderbird story. You can see Thunderbird 1 on the left hand side blasting off, and this is a full colour comic strip story. You can see Brains there, and it runs for 6 pages, and then we come on to the Secrets of Tracy Island. I've noticed that there are some corners of these pages that have actually been torn away, so it does appear to be on most pages. It doesn't affect the text or anything, and you can still read everything, but it just looks like someone's started to tear them off at some point in its life. As I say, it doesn't alter the book in any way though. So with Secrets of Tracy Island, so A is TB1 hangar, or TB1 waits at the top of the ramp for Scott to board through the swinging wall, section B. That's right there. Virgil leaves down the chute. Where is Virgil? Virgil leaving down the chute. Oh, that's B. Sorry, there's Virgil there. Oh no, oh yeah. No, it's G. Sorry, Virgil leaves down the chute into G via the tilting picture. Via the tilting picture D. Okay, yep. So the D opens up and he goes down. Scott goes through B. And the settee which descends through the floor en route for Thunderbirds 3, which is E, and F, portraits of the Tracy boys. But there we are. But that's all the technical background of Tracy Island and how it works and where everything goes to reach their Thunderbird vehicles. Thunderscope, specifications of a Thunderscope. So 2 pieces of cardboard glued together form main constructions, paint scene on them. Okay, so this is you can paint and make your own Thunderscope there. So I suppose a bit like Blue Peter, they tell you what to do there. And the next story is River of Destruction, and again it's a full colour comic strip story featuring all of International Rescue. Again, they're obviously going on a dangerous rescue mission, and that is again 6 pages. And there we've got the specifications of the Firefly, which is one of the specified craft that gets transported to its destinations on Thunderbird 2. Oh, this page is stuck together a little bit. I don't want to pull it apart in case I tear it, but this is the next story, which is called Terror Mountain. I really don't want to pull it apart in case I damage it and rip it. So, but it's a full story with colour illustrations. Maybe, I don't know, maybe someone spilt something on those pages and they've stuck together for whatever reason, I don't know. Or maybe someone's just decided to stick some glue in there. I really don't know. But anyway, so that's 4 pages. It's 4 pages of that story. And then we come to the Thunderbird 1 launch bay, which is probably the most exciting launch bay of them all. The way Thunderbird 1 actually comes down the ramp and blasts off. The best takeoff scene of all. We've got a loose page there. That page has actually come loose, so will need to be fixed back in at some point, I would say. But that is the 5 funny things. And then we're on to check on International Rescue, which is how well do you know your International Rescue team. And this quiz that has actually been completed. You can see it's been marked off, you can still go over it and do it again. And then the next comic strip story is Disaster at Derribah. And again, it is a full colour comic strip story, which runs for 5 pages. And then we got Break for Laughs, which is a few funny jokes there. And then moving on, 97 toiled to save a single life. That must be something that actually happened. So 60 men, 7 women, 13 vehicles and over 1,000 worth of equipment, plus at least 30 other volunteers. That was the small army of men, women and equipment it took to save the life of just one man trapped deep underground in a narrow pothole. There we go. That tells you about that. Okay, so we got a full story here, which is called Mooncrack. And it is all, again, it's a full story with colour illustrations. And that runs for 4 pages. And then we're on to the next comic strip story, which is called Dive to Danger, which obviously features Thunderbird 4 in its all its glory. And it is again a full colour comic strip story. And again, that runs for 4 pages. And then we come on to the ball game. and it says the game can be played by 2 or more players. Each player is in command of 4 crafts, and the idea is to pilot the craft around the board at least once before returning home. The player who gets all his 4 craft home is the winner. And there we go. So Thunderbird 1, Thunderbird 2, Thunderbird 3, Thunderbird 4, and you've got to get around the board and home. Okay, Thunderbird 2 launch bay, which is also another exciting area. So where the pods move in and out, as you can see in the bottom there, until you select the pod that is needed for the mission that Thunderbirds are just about to go on to. The next full story is called Collision Orbit, and that is a full story with colour illustrations, and that ran for 4 pages. And then we're on to another comic strip story, which is called The Trap. These photographs are just absolutely phenomenal. They're straight from the TV series, and they just look amazing. The comic strips artwork is not bad either. Pretty good for the 60s. And again, that is 2, 4, 6 pages. And then we get on to the Hood, who, as we all know, is Public Enemy #1. And that's all about him. Specifications of the Mole, which is the another one of the machines that is required at certain rescues, and it gets transported in Thunderbird 2, and it is the machine that digs through the ground. And then we're on to another comic strip story. It's called Bridge of Fear. I'm pretty certain that is based on a TV episode, but I could be wrong. So that is 4 pages. And then we come into Emergency Red Alert, which is all about actual space. And that goes on for 4 pages. And you've got the answers to some of the questions that were on the quiz back a few pages ago. Next comic strip, Cloud of Death, which again is a full colour comic strip. And there we have Thunderbird 3 blasting off this time. And that is a 4-page comic strip story. And we've got some more fun fairs, which are all funny jokes. And then we've got the observation test, which is, what do you have to do here? Thunderbird 1, International Rescue's giant atomic rocket-powered survey craft moves to the launch pad. All systems read green, blast off in seconds away, but how observant are you? Study the enlarged sections below and see if you can place them in the correct positions in the main picture. I see. So someone has actually done that because it's got marks above the images. So that whoever's done this has put in L1. So there's L1, which is probably right, yeah. But there we are. So, but yeah, you can still have a go yourself. Next story is called Dead Man's Rescue, and that is a full story with colour illustrations, and that runs for 4 pages again. Then you've got information on Thunderbird 3 launch bay, which Thunderbird 3 is the tallest vehicle, obviously, because it's a rocket ship going out into orbit. And that shows you all the specifications of how you get into the ship and where it fires off. It goes through the pool. It doesn't go through the pool, does it? It goes through the top of the mountain. Through the dome of the office there. Right, and then we've got Fight for Survival, which is the next comic strip story. And you can see Thunderbird 2 on the launch pad. And that again is a comic strip story which runs for 7 pages. And it says, Adventures in the 21st Century, every Wednesday at 7 pence. Stand by for action. And that's the comic which they're advertising their weekly comic. And then we have the pilots of the Thunderbird craft. So you have Gordon, who's Thunderbird 4, Scott Tracy, who pilots Thunderbird 1. You've got John Tracy, who is the monitor on Thunderbird 5, Virgil Tracy, who's Thunderbird 2 pilot, and Alan Tracy, who's Thunderbird 3 pilot. And there we have the end of the annual. Okay, so Let's just pop that loose page back in so it doesn't fall out. I'm going to have to get that tape back in. Okay, so how well did these annuals do? Well, I told you before, I'll tell you again, that the annuals was very much a staple diet for all television programs back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and to some extent the early 90s. There was no such thing really, and not until the 90s as videos and DVDs and internet and streaming. So the only way you could see or watch your program was to watch it when it aired. And if you missed that, then you had to wait for a rerun. In some cases, it could be years or maybe never. So the annuals was a good way to catch up with certain things. So quite often in the annuals, there are things that you missed on the TV series, depending on which annuals you go for. These particular annuals, they were based on more so on the comics than on the television series. But there are obviously bits of TV tie-in in there, as you saw. So yeah, the annuals were all mass produced. They were a very, very big thing at the time. We all had annuals in our Christmas stockings or Christmas sacks on Christmas morning when we were kids. They were released around about September, October, November time, so they were always released just in time for Christmas. So this one was released in 1967 for the upcoming 1968 year. So they always did that. They released them for the prior to the coming year. So yeah, very popular, sold an awful lot, and it was a big thing. Everybody who was anybody had annuals. Okay, so let's move forward. What are we talking about? We're talking about 57 years to 2024. How often do these annuals come up for sale? Well, they do come up for sale on the platforms. Don't get me wrong, they do, in various different conditions. Now you notice that this one is not the best condition that we've seen in the past. This one does have a few faults, so there is some writing in this one, and there is a loose page, and we will rectify the loose page and get that reattached. But there is obviously some writing on some of the pages that we can't do anything about. But otherwise, it's for its age, it's not in too bad a condition, and it's certainly a very good readable copy. Now, if you are buying on platforms, do make sure you have a very good look at the item you're buying. Don't just look at the main page, because they could just be stock photographs. So make sure you go to the actual item itself, click on the use button, and then have a look at the actual product that you are about to buy. Otherwise, you could end up disappointed. As we've spoken to many customers who have actually done that. They've ordered something on the platforms thinking what they see on the image is what they're going to get, and of course what they get is completely different, or say completely different quality, because it's obviously not new. It is a used item with obviously condition issues. So do make sure you do that if you're buying on the platforms. However, on the MyTouch website, you will get exactly what you see. We only display the item that is up for sale on that particular product. So if we've got 3 of these annuals, there'll be 3 different numbers up on the website. So what the actual one you see is the one you buy. And we have a few copies of this particular annual, and it is currently available to purchase on the MyTouch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Gerry Anderson items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website, and there will be something for everybody. And I am absolutely positive that this is something that you won't want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this old annual with me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next video. So bye for now.